Hi guys, hope you're well and hope you can get me clearly. So I've been getting questions on how to position and leverage for opportunities. So for me, when I was thinking about this, I decided to come up with a rule book. So that I call Justina Wamae's rule book. And there are 5 for this episode. The first one is knowing yourself. In 2010, I graduated from Daystar University. 2012, I had a graduate diploma from CAPS UK in procurement. 2014, I had a master's degree. All along, as I was studying, I was really sending in my CV for a job. My classmates were working, most of them. So I would really tell them, when you hear an opening, tell me, So they'd really tell me to send in my CV and I would send. But the tragedy was I never got a job at that point. So in my heart, I started asking myself and questioning, is it me or the external conditions? And I concluded it was the external conditions. So what can I do about it? I decided that the policies in place are not receptive to youth employment. That is why I ran for MP Mavoko in 2017, because I wanted the next generation of people who are behind me to realize that it is easy for you to finish school and get a job. So the first rule I applied was knowing myself. How it came into play, when I spoke to my parents about it, they discouraged me and told me that my grandfather had said that no one will run for a seat out of his descendants. So I told them respectfully that it was them who were told by my grandfather and it wasn't me. And I ran for the seat. So why I had the courage to tell them that is because I had known myself, I had known what I'm capable of, I knew what I stood for, and that is why I had the courage to tell them respectfully, no, let me try. Of course, I never won the seat, but I'd rather lose trying. When I lose trying, I would have tried hard than failing to try. So rule number 1, know yourself. Fast forward in 2022, the opportunity to be a running mate rather, came forward. And what did I do? I took the opportunity. But remember, this opportunity had a risk. The risk involved was that there was legalization of marijuana. Again, my parents, my relatives and friends could not understand what I was doing. So it had so much, it took a toll on me emotionally. But I remembered I know myself. I remembered that number 2 rule is that risk is an opportunity. There are many things we want to do in life, but we feel like we are risking. And if you don't do it, it is an opportunity cost. You've lost it. So I always say risk itself is an opportunity. Go out there and do what you feel you can do or achieve. Don't be afraid of people laughing at you. Don't be afraid that, people will just think you've lost focus. Do it. Take the risk. Go out there and do it. In fact, after I had calmed down and agreed and decided my husband is supporting me in this, I'm going to go for it. What did I do? I went out there. I started campaigning. I started going for TV interviews. Remember, the last time I'd spoken English was 2018. The business I do, mimi husemania watuni. Watuni, I speak either Kiswahili or Kikuyu. And people who watched my first interview on K24, it was horrible. And, in fact, I was wondering where my English went to. But again, 5 years, close to 5 years of not speaking English explains it. So I went for all interviews, irrespective of which TV station was calling me, whether it's a major or a minor, I went. And I was doing that to just gain courage on the screen. I was doing that to prepare myself for the debate. I was doing that because I knew questions will come and answering questions is key. And the most important thing, this risk made me start researching on the types of marijuana. So when you feel so scared to do something, when you feel so scared that you're risking something, that is where the opportunity lies. Number 3, or rule number 3. When I was writing my notes down, I remembered something. That in 2017, I ran for MP Mavoko. 2018, I applied for a PS position. 2022, the opportunity to be running mate is here. What should I do? I should begin with the end in mind. The end in mind is that I have always wanted to be in public service. I've illustrated how 2017 and 2018. Here was an opportunity to be running mate. It was either we win this election or lose. But for me, the end in mind was that I can showcase my capabilities. I always say my strength, knowing the issues, that is a strength for me. Debating skills, getting a middle ground. Also understanding how do I put it? My capacity and willingness to serve the public. So for me, thinking win-win is another strength that I pride myself in. So all this were geared towards showcasing that I'm capable of leading, or rather I'm capable of serving the public. So that is why when I was writing down my notes, I said, beginning with the end in mind. What is this that you want to achieve? The moment you know your goal, you're going to come up with a very formidable game plan, right? So always begin in any opportunity, in everything you're doing, begin with the end in mind. And number 4, there's a rule I came up with. Sometimes for you to do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing. What do I mean? Of course, there was a time we had a fallout with my party leader, and I spoke about it. In the eyes of Kenyans, it was wrong of me to speak about it. I was ungrateful that he had given me limelight. Everything that Kenyans said, I would see social media. It was wrong in the eyes of Kenyans. But for me, it was the right thing because I didn't believe in politics of deceit. I didn't believe in hoodwinking Kenyans. I didn't believe in being a project. I believed in selling the manifesto of that party. So I believed in what I felt was right. I had my own stand. And remember, before I agreed to be there, and it is a practice I do all the time, when I agreed to a contract or we are negotiating or discussing something, my question to the other person has always been, what is the end game? So my belief was that we are not aligning to the end game. And that is why I spoke. So it might be wrong in the eyes of other Kenyans. You might want to do something Kenyans are feeling or other people feel is wrong, but is it right with you? So the rule today is that for you to do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing. And finally, number 5, champions keep moving. Why do I say champions keep moving? When I was in high school, there was this conversation. Our time, there were high achievers for KCPE. If you are a high achiever, you got, 430 plus, And then some of us got 380 thereabout. And here I've gone to a school and I've met the giants. Sadly, most of the giants were left, over the 4 years, they were always telling us the way they were number 1 in their district, in their province. But now when the real election, not the real election, look at myself. Now when the real exam came, they weren't number 1 anymore. It means they stuck into the championship and forgot to move on. Similarly to me, after we were cleared by ABC, if I was not thinking big, I would have been stuck in how we've been cleared. But for me, the next challenge was the debate. The next challenge was the election. The next challenge was, my opportunities growing and how people see me. So for me, champions keep moving. The election is over. A lot has happened. That is water under the bridge. Right now, the conversation I have with myself now is that the other day I went to buy yellow beans at a shop close to where I live. And a kg of yellow beans was going for 210 shillings. So I asked the lady who was selling why, the prices are up. And she told me even her supplier who goes to Tanzania and Uganda are always they know, and they have reported to her that cereals are no longer, because of the climatic changes, there's drought, hunger. This year, there was no produce because there was no rainfall. We should expect cereals prices to go up. So for me, I started thinking about it and I said, the next threat we have is hunger. Many places, in Nairobi, we feel like there's water, we can buy food, even if it's expensive. But the places where people don't have food, there's famine, so to speak. So my next project, and I would like to partner with women, anyone, people, youth, whoever. My next conversation is that how can women and youth be frontline actors in food security and also mitigating against the harsh conditions of climatic change? Remember, everything must be done on the grassroots. If we as farmers can feed ourselves, that is a plus. We as farmers can sell our excess produce, that is a plus to the country because that is income from export. Our export can go through value addition. Those are industries, that is employment creation. So for me, the next conversation I should be having, and I'm willing to partner with anyone who, and even, I'm not saying I'm good at this. For me, it's about gaining knowledge. How can we convert women and youth into frontline actors to ensure that there's food security in this country? And also, we are mitigating against the adverse climatical changes that are affecting, causing the poor rainfall. So much has been said. I know I can go on and on, but for today, what I can say is that if you want to do something, just do it. Don't overthink, don't overdo, just do it. Don't be afraid to start. Just start and you learn along the way. And as I conclude, there's a quote. Afraid to see who it is, I didn't get. The quote says, everything you need is already inside you. Just get started.